take off all your junk from inside here, and you're gonna unscrew those 2 bolts right here using a 10 mil. Go ahead and take off your shifter knob, and then take this off and disconnect your 12 volt power supply. Set this aside, and then it should come right out. I forgot to mention that there's 2 screws pertaining to the center glove box console. Should be a screw right there, and then another screw on the left side. Sorry for all the dirt that you see right there, but there should be 2 screws there. I apparently don't have any for some odd reason, but don't forget to take out those 2 screws. Take off the clips and connectors right here for these wires, the needle nose pliers, and just use it as a pry bar and clip those out. So got that out of the way. Take off the clip for the reverse cable. So basically what I did, this clip presented like this goes in right here. Just grab some needle nose pliers and just pulled on it, and it should slide right out, and boom, just like that, comes right out. Take off this cable right here. I basically just move this to the left and then grab the small little pry bar and pry this back up. The same thing with this guy, but before anything else, I went ahead and loosened up these 12 mil bolts already. I can maneuver this out of the way, and before taking off this main shift cable, and take out this last retaining clip that pertains down there, and take off the cable and get the assembly out of here. Grab this clip, move it aside, should come right out just like that. Put this guy on the side, and there we go. I'll go ahead and proceed by taking off the shift cable. Okay, so this part is pretty hard. What I suggest doing is I got myself a putty knife laying around, or find a very thin screwdriver for you to basically wedge yourself onto this retaining clip right here. And what I basically did was hammer it in. If you use just a regular screwdriver that has a plastic end and you hammer it and try to wedge it in, it's not going to work, for the fact that this plastic end piece of the screwdriver would just basically absorb the impact, so it's not going to help you out too much. So if you could find something that has somewhat of a hammer end to it, that'll help you out. Once you wedge this guy in there, you basically start prying it off, and use a bigger screwdriver to help you out, to leverage it popping out. So that's basically what I did. You will damage this eventually a little bit, but we could just clean that up and sand it down. Once you do that, grab your hammer, mallet out, and hammer out this big pin that slides through it. Use your screwdriver and just move it out. Next step would be taking off this guy here. What I basically did is wedged in a screwdriver on this side, played with it, and then worked my way out from the outer surface to the point it just popped out. So we'll do that, put that aside, and take this guy out. Don't forget to take this plastic piece out too. What we're gonna do is take off these base bushings. So we're first gonna take out these metal retaining pieces right here. Just like that. Set it aside. I already got all 4 of them. And then once you do that, just take these guys out. Basically what I'm doing is pinching these guys in, and then just push them out like so. Just like that. So there you go. There's one. These base bushings basically go underneath the assembly, just like that. So it's gonna have a little bit of a right height. So once you put these bushings underneath, a washer will go in, followed by your bolt that got supplied, and then pretty much just zip them up once you're ready to go. Inside this guy right here, obviously I took out with some needle nose pliers. Basically just went like this, popped right out. I got some multi-purpose grease, Harbor Freight Special. Put some on here real quick, and then grab my cap, cleaned it nice and good, just snap it right in. Can't do it with one hand, so I'm gonna leave the camera alone, but make sure you clean it nice and good, and maybe some brake clean. All right guys, so just real quick, all the contact points that you see that's filled up with grease, go ahead and just clean them up and lube them up with new fresh grease. If you need to, use some brake clean also, like I'm doing, and get them nice and clean. So I'm not going to record this part, but any contact points that you see again that's filled with grease, just go ahead and grease them up and put it back together. This is probably the hardest part of the installation, which is putting on this retainer right here. What I basically did was I had to get help from my wife. She basically holds it down from this side with a pair of needle nose, and when she holds this down on this retainer, the retainer actually pivoted up on this side. So while she was pressing down on this side, I basically grabbed a punch and started punching on this side while she was retaining the other side. So you'll probably need some help from somebody else trying to get this guy in, because it's really difficult to do it by yourself. At the same time, while you do that, make sure you have something on this side, maybe, I don't know, a brick or something, a screwdriver. And the reason you want something laying down on top of right here is because once you start hammering this, there's a possibility of this pin starting to start going down. So make sure you have something to basically hold it as leverage, just like that, so this pin won't go down. Shifter assembly, there's no need for you to put it on a shifter assembly. It's just a tool for you to pop out that pin. So there's no need for you to put it on that. I thought it was part of the whole assembly with the short shifter, but apparently this guy right here is just a tool to pop out that pin. So I was trying to figure that out, what it is for, and I had to find out through the forum that, you know, it's basically a tool to pop out that pin. So just disregard that, disregard my video of you guys seeing this guy on the assembly. So there's no need to put this guy in. Just void it out. It's just a tool to pop out the pin. Okay, so this bottom clip is actually not that hard to take off at all. As soon as you take off, before anything else, make sure this guy's like flopped sideways, so you could easily insert that clip on there. The shifter cable, so it's easily accessible. There's actually no fuss about it. And then after, you could just slide this guy in. That clip is actually not that hard at all, so it's pretty easy. All right, so shifter base bushings are in. Basically, it's going to be metal to metal contact on the frame of the car. So go ahead and just grease them up, just to be sure they're not squeaking around. And then followed by your washer and bolt. Go ahead and insert it right here and here, and proceed with the rest. So right off the bat, you could tremendously feel the difference of, now from my understanding, let me stir off the conversation a little bit. The difference between notch and non-notchy, supposedly from my research, a non-notchy transmission is you're able to feel the shifts. A notchy transmission, you have a little bit of slack and a little bit of play to it. So that being said, you have, well, I have the feel of a non-notchy gearbox. So the shifts are nice and crisp. I already have cable shifter bushings that lead to the transmission. And then on top of that, we have I have the Monkey Wrench Racing short shifter with the base bushings. So with the combination of the two, it's a real huge difference. You can feel every single gear nice and crisp. It's just night and day between the two. Now I plan to do a couple things before I tear down the transmission, because first gear pops out. So what I gotta do is take off in second, or what I'm gonna do right now is just take off in second a little bit, jam it into first, and it won't pop out. That's first gear. Second gear. Third gear. Fourth gear. The gears are very, very close. They're very precise. In my opinion, there's absolutely no slop at all. There's a little bit of a slop, but it's hardly noticeable. The combination of the shifter bushings, the short shifter with the base bushings, the polyurethane torque mounts inserts, it's night and day. That you can literally feel the car, the whole mechanical aspect of the car, you can literally feel in your hands. Through the steering wheel, through the shifter, going through the gears, it's